Hi guys, and welcome back to the Wyfe Up podcast. I'm about to hit record. Let's go. Welcome to the Wyfe Up podcast. I am so glad that you guys are here today, joining me and spending time with me, and I'm super grateful that you are here. So if this is your first time here, welcome, and if you've been here before, welcome back. Thank you for being here. Those of you that are listening to the podcast, I am I'm filming this rather. And so I also have a YouTube channel by the same name, Wyfe Up. I'm a visual person. So if you're a visual person like myself, then you can head on over to my YouTube channel and watch the podcast if you so please. And guys, if you like the content, please like and subscribe. I truly appreciate it. And so let me get started with a little bit of a prayer. Heavenly Father, my Abba, my King, my everything, thank you so much for this opportunity to spend with the Wyfe Up fam and just to be able to pour into wives, God. And I just want to glorify you. That's it. I just want to glorify you. So please use my lips of clay and tell me what it is that you would love for me to get off of my heart and out of my mouth that is glorifying to you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. So, thank you guys. Anyway, so today's topic is, as you read in the title, is your husband is not your Ken doll. And I felt led to talk about this because of what I see, how I see husbands being treated by their wives. And it got me thinking, one day I was thinking that a lot of times we treat our husbands like they're disposable. We treat them like they don't even matter, right? And I'm like, where did that behavior come from? Like, where do we get this from? Why? And it made me really think about that. And the fact that I came up with, or the conclusion that I came up with, is that we had a husband before. Our very first husband, we were like 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. His name was Ken. And for those of you that are not watching, I'm holding up a Ken doll. Our very first relationship was with this Ken doll. We controlled Ken. We dressed him. We propped him up wherever we needed him to be. We told him where he was going. He did everything we, aka Barbie, asked of him. The way that we played with him, we were Barbie normally. We were the wife, and Ken was the husband. And we controlled everything Ken did. Unless we had a friend that was a boy coming over to play, and he played Ken, or one of our friends were over playing, and they played Ken, and they kind of controlled what Ken said and did. But when we played by ourselves, we controlled Barbie and we controlled Ken. And so I feel like that's where a lot of us wives learned some of the bad behaviors that we do, right? So I just want to share a few points that I thought about in pertaining to this. So, firstly, we could do whatever we wanted to Ken, right? And he would always come back to us. I don't care what we did. We could dip him in paint. We could run over him with the car. We could toss him across the field and obviously go get him. He'll get beaten and chewed up by our dogs. And we could still retrieve him and then bring him back to play. And he would play like nothing ever happened. We, as Barbie, but us living through Barbie, I've seen little girls disrespect this doll. Like when I say treat him like crap and just drag him in the mud. Ken got no respect. No respect. I've yet to see a little girl really treat Ken with the utmost respect. I've seen little girls play out what they believe to be respect, but I've seen little girls yell at Ken. I've seen little girls toss Ken. I've seen little girls just scream and like I was going to say the 6-year-old version of a curse out. Like, Ken, you are not nothing. You're not going to, I've seen it. I'm not going to go into it. I've seen it. I've seen girls talk to Ken the way they hear their mom talk to their husbands or boyfriends or whoever's in their life, because that's really who we're emulating, right? So a lot of times our home life and what we see and experience, we play out with Barbie and Ken. So I've seen Ken be disrespected. I've seen him be ignored. I've seen Ken be used. I've seen him be neglected. I've seen Ken berated in front of all the other dolls. I've seen it. I've seen it. And I feel like that is the way that we treat our husbands sometimes. Not all women, but a lot of women. A lot of times women will yell at their husbands, disrespect their husbands, mistreat their husbands, use their husbands, neglect, abuse. I've seen women outright talk about their husbands like they weren't nothing, and talk to their husbands like they had no respect for them. The only thing is, Ken will always come back. Your husband might not always come back. There will come a point where your husband will get tired of being mistreated. There will come a point where he'll get sick of it. So if that's you, which you probably know when it's you, you need to think about what you're doing. Your husband's not a Ken doll. And that's for somebody. So another point that I was thinking about is we pick up Ken and play with him whenever we want to, right? I mean, when we were kids. And so there were days that we treated Ken like an accessory. We played with him or we didn't. Put him down, pick him up, put him down, pick him up. Or some days we didn't play with him at all because we were playing with the other dolls, right? It was like, I don't feel like playing with Ken today. I don't feel like it. But when we did play with Ken, we never really, hey, Ken, what do you want to do today? What would you like to do? It was always about us. It was always about what we wanted to do. And Ken just played along. He just went with the flow. How many of you have husbands that do that? How many of you wives do that to your husbands? I've seen it. So don't say, oh, no, that's not true. No, I've seen it. I've seen wives not really give two stuffs about what their husband wants, right? Won't even sit down and watch a football game with their husband. Won't sit down and watch a movie. Won't sit down and, just even figure out, babe, what do you want to do today? Because it is all about, I've seen wives do it. I've seen wives actually shrug their shoulders like, I don't want to do that, so I'm not doing that. He'll be all right. What? Wow. I feel like if Ken could talk, he might be like, I want to sit down and watch a football game. I want to ride my motorcycle today. Barbie's never letting him have a motorcycle, so that probably won't never happen, right? But you get what I'm saying? What is it that your husband wants to do that you're not allowing, or he could do it, but you're not going to do it with him because you're just like, I'm not doing that. I don't feel like doing it, and I'm not going to do it. That's what I mean. Ken is not an accessory. Ken might be, right? Because he doesn't have feelings, but your husband does. So what is it that you are not doing with your husband? You already know. You already know. There's certain things. Every husband is different, but there's certain things that their wives are just like, I'm not going to do that. Your husband is not a Ken doll. Your husband has feelings. There are some things that your husband may want to do, right? We decide to take Ken out. We made him do whatever it is that we want to do, but we never truly asked him what he wanted to do. And a lot of times we'll get up every day and do what we need to do. He does what he needs to do. And then we don't ask, hey, babe, what would you like to do? My husband is really good for asking me, what do I want to do? Hey, babe, what would you like? Even just now. And I had said to him a little while ago, we had a bottle of wine that was downstairs. And I was like, babe, what do you think that bottle of wine would taste like? He was like, I don't know, because we had gotten it from the hotel. And I was like, you think it's any good? He said, it's probably going to be good quality. And I was like, okay. And then he was like, after it's aerated. And I was like, oh, all right. Because I was about to come film my podcast. And I was like, I didn't have time to really do that. And I really didn't want to. I don't drink before my podcast because I just want to be, able to talk to you guys without having to have a drink anyway. So, anyway, I said that to him, and I left the room. Then I came in here to record, and then he comes in with the aerated bottle of wine. I'm holding it up, guys, for those of you that are listening to the podcast. Now, I'm like, I'm not drinking all of that. He was like, well, then we'll put the rest up. Like, but I know you wanted wine, so I got it for you. That's my husband. My husband is amazing. And he bought me a glass to go with it. So, sorry. Colts, because that's his team. I'm a Giants girl, but you know what? Sorry, I dropped my paper. I root for the Giants, but when they're not playing the Colts, I root for the Colts as well. If they're playing the Giants, it's Giants all day. But I watch football with my husband. I do things that my husband wants to do. My husband is so considerate and thoughtful and amazing. But a lot of that has to do with part of his personality, because that's how he is. But also it has to do with the fact that I spend time with him. I want to be around him. I want to know what it is that he wants to do. It's not always about me. There's levels to this. And people are like, well, how is it that your husband wants to do these things for you? Because I make him a priority. I don't treat him like this. I treat him like the whole human being that he is. Which leads to my next point. So, I have my notes here. Ken keeps the same expression on his face all the time. Right? What is that? Like a little smirk, smile, not a smile, whatever. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Whatever he's going through, which he's a doll, right? I get it, right? So just play along. He always has this expression on his face, no matter what. And like I said, you can do whatever you want to him, and he's always going to come back. You can also do whatever you want to him, and he's also going to have that same expression on his face. How many of us do that to our husbands? Because a lot of times, I feel like if Ken had feelings, he might be like, Barbie, I don't want to play today. Or Barbie, I'm tired. Or Barbie, I can't afford to buy that dream home that you really want. Or Barbie, I'm not feeling well. Or Barbie, I'm not happy. Or Barbie, I just want to rest. My back hurt, my feet hurt. I'm tired, I've been working hard all day. Or I've been following you around the place and I'm just tired and I just want to rest. A lot of times we don't know what's going on with our own husbands. I can't see the expression on his face, but guess what? Some of us have husbands that either one or two things, right? Either your husband is acting out, right? He might be not so nice to you, but that's not the way he normally is. That's like your check engine light. If your husband is acting differently than he normally acts, there's a good chance that he's stressing out about something. We can't just assume he's not going through anything. And a lot of wives are good for that. A lot of wives walk around thinking about their whole world and not considering what's going on in their husband's world. What's going on in their husband's heart, what's going on in their husband's mind. A lot of us wives, we're good for that, especially if you have kids. Your whole world is your kids and what's going on with you. And that whole man, that whole husband that you have is walking in this world, just walking around and nobody to talk to and trying to keep everything intact. So when you see your husband acting out, meaning he might not be as nice to you or he's short, his attitude, he's just not being nice. A lot of times as women, the first thing we want to do is be like, he can't, I'm not doing this. He's not going to do this. He's not going to talk to me like that. He's not going to get away with this. He's not going to do this, that, and the other. But we don't stop and consider what is going on with my husband? I feel like I could just park this right here for a minute. Because we don't. Not all wives. Some wives are on it. They're just like, wait a minute, whoa, what's going on with my babe? Let me ask you a question. If your husband started acting differently, if your husband started all of a sudden just barking at you and not being nice to you, what would be your first reaction? No, okay, let's be real. You're human, I'm human. We're women with flesh first. So we're going to be like, oh, wait a minute, whoa. Part, time out. Why are you speaking to me like that? We're not going to be doing this, right? You get into a whole argument and then, that's it. And then the next thing you know, you're not talking really. But did you stop to consider that there may be something going on with your guy, with your husband, with your man, with your boo, your best friend? Because if he's not acting the same, there's something going on with him. And listen, they carry so much weight. Our husbands carry so much weight. You have no idea. He's not going to tell you because as a man, he's not going to want to admit that he's going through something. He's not going to want to admit. And a lot of times, listen, they don't want to fail. They don't want to be viewed as a failure by you. They don't want to be viewed as a failure by their kids. They don't want to be viewed as a failure by society. They don't want to be viewed as a failure by their family. So they're walking around with, I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to be successful. I got to provide. I got to be there. This has to be right. I can't let my family down. But the man might be tired. Or the man might have an illness and don't even know it. Or the man might be depressed. Because he has 10,000 things on his plate. And you don't even know what's going on with him. You just assume that there's nothing going on. Or if he's acting out, that he's acting out because he's a jerk. When the truth of the matter is he's acting out because there's something wrong. That check engine light is on and you need to figure out why. Or he might not. He might not wear it on his face. He might be walking around like Ken. Same expression. Hey, honey, how you doing? How's everything? All right, did you have a good day? Love you. But inside he's crying. Or inside he's dying. You have no idea what's going on with him. And can I tell you something? Just because your husband is walking around smiling doesn't mean he's okay. Men wear stress. They have the hat on of being a financial provider and making sure that their family is okay. Even if you work too. Even if you work and he works, he's still the head of the household. And then on top of that, he's being a father and trying to figure out how to be the best father possible. And he might have yelled at your son the other day or yelled at your daughter because he was stressed out. And the two of y'all might have got into it because you're like, you don't be yelling at, why are you talking to her like that? But you don't even realize it. You might have said, honey, how was your day? But he's like, oh, what's good? How many times, this is another thing. How many times do you wives actually sit and listen to your husband when he's talking to you about his day? I can tell you I'm guilty of half listening. When he is telling you what's going on in your day, in his day, you need to stop what you're doing and give him all of the attention that he deserves. Because that man, I'm telling you, he has the weight of the world on his shoulders and he doesn't have anybody to talk to but you. He gets your undivided attention. You need to pay attention to what's going on with him. you need to figure out if there's a check engine light on. Sometimes when we have things that are going on as wives, we seemingly only care about ourselves. In his eyes, he's probably thinking, she don't even ask about me. She don't care what's going on with me. All she cares about is the kids, the house, what's going on in her day. And not to say that those things are not important, because they are important. But a lot of times we as wives tend to make it just about us, our feelings, what's going on with the children, how the children stressed us out, or how, oh, you're not going to believe what my coworker Jenny said to me today. I could have snatched her by her hair today. She's lucky we were at work. Why? What happened? Oh, she said the most craziest thing to me, and I almost got into a fight at work with her. And he listens, but inside he's thinking, I just want to tell her about my day, but I don't want to stress her out. She's already had a tough enough day with the kids. Or he comes home and he's so excited to tell you something, but you already stopped him in his tracks because you got to tell him what's going on. Did you know that little David did this today? Or did you see this? Or did you see that? And said, yeah, that's great. How many times did you then say, babe, how was your day? And then really sat there and listened. Because we can be like, how was your day? And then as we're saying, how was your day? He's telling us that we're walking away. We're going to the kitchen and we might be fixing his plate. But the attention isn't really there. The focus isn't really there. And they can pick up on that. They know. Sometimes my husband has told me something, and because I have 1,000 other things on my mind, I half listened to what he had to say. And then I zoned out a little bit and then came back and was like, wait a minute, what? And he was like, you're not even paying attention to me. If I could tell you how many times my husband has said that to me. Are you even listening to me? Yes, babe, I'm listening, but I'm sorry I didn't hear that middle part. Why? Because I started thinking about something else, and I'm so sorry. I was thinking about dinner. I need to go downstairs. I was wondering if the oven was still on, and so on and so forth. Like, I can see, even though that was about him, like me thinking about, okay, let me make sure that the food downstairs, even though I zoned out because I was thinking about, oh, let me fix his plate, let me make sure the food is hot, it does not matter. He was in the middle of pouring his heart out to me. He was in the middle of sharing with me, and I tuned him out. So I've had to learn that I need to get better at giving him my undivided attention. That's so important. I don't ever want him to feel like this. I don't ever want him to feel like I'm just playing with him. I'm just playing with his life, and that he doesn't mean anything to me. I don't want him to feel like that. I don't want him to feel like he's replaceable. I can go buy 1,000 of these. I don't ever want him to feel that way, because my husband can't be replaced. I want him to feel like he's the most important human to me on this planet. And I know that that's hard for some women to wrap their head around. Why? Because you might have kids and you're like, my kids come first. That's a whole nother conversation. But your husband should get your undivided attention. And then some women, we have time for other people, but we don't have time for our husbands. You know what I mean? You be on the phone with your girlfriend for 4 hours, right? Or maybe 2 hours. I say 4 because I have one of my friends, one of my closest friends. Sometimes we don't speak for 6 months at a time. But when we do speak, we speak on the phone for 4 hours at a time, right? 4 hours, 5 hours. The longest was 6 hours straight in one. I've driven to the store, come back, cooked dinner, given my, I've done all these things while I'm still carrying a conversation on with her. But my point is that sometimes we will give other things our attention more than our husbands. because we value those other things. And I know that's the thing that no one wants to hear. Oh, I value my husband, but I beg to differ if you've given other things your time more than you've given him your time. And so I use the girlfriend example because we have friends, right? Some of y'all might be on the phone with your friends or on FaceTime with your friends and might give that more attention than your husband's. Or it might be a television show. You might be watching something on TV and be like, I'll wait till my show is finished. Let me just finish watching this. Or scrolling on the internet. When does your husband get your time? I've seen my husband sit next to me and, he'll see me. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to look up something and then I'm scrolling. He calls me a squirrel. He's like, squirrel. I'm like, what does that mean? He said, that means that you fell down that hole, that black hole that you're sitting there still scrolling half an hour later. Can we watch something? I'm sorry. You're right, babe. I'm so sorry. Yes. What do you want to watch? We can watch almost anything that you want to watch. I don't watch everything that he wants to watch, but there are some shows that we both like to watch together. And there's some shows that I would have never watched before that I thought, nope, I'm not watching this. And I've actually really come to love to sit down with him and watch because his time is really important to me. I don't want to be that wife that doesn't prioritize my husband. And I don't want him to feel like a Ken doll. Like I could just pick him up, put him down, listen to him whenever I want to. When I don't feel like it, when I'm done playing with him, I can just toss him to the side. Or I don't care about what he wants to do. I only want him to do what I want to do. And a lot of us wives are guilty of that. I was guilty. I was guilty of it. My husband has said to me, can I have your attention? My husband has rolled his eyes and threw his hands up in the air when he was trying to tell me something and somebody else caught my attention, a child or someone called and I took the call or something like that. I don't ever want him to feel like that. I want him to feel that he is my numero uno and not just something that I just toss to the side. He's important to me. He's my husband. He's a whole human being with whole feelings, right? He has feelings. And sometimes he might be in pain and I don't even know it. Because when wives, listen, husbands, men are not ones to really verbalize their feelings, especially if it's something that makes them look weak. They won't. They will not. If they're in pain, nope, you won't know about it unless you see them limping or if you see, something is really going on. You're like, babe, what's wrong? At that point, they've already been in pain for a year. Like, seriously. They're struggling financially. They're not going to want to tell us that. This man has whole feelings, and he should be able to come to you and tell you about them. He should be able to express himself to you without getting shut down. You don't control him. He's a whole person. You don't get to choose for him what he does and how he feels. He's not Ken. And you're not Barbie. So don't be Barbie. Be that wife, warrior wife, that Proverbs 31 wife, the one that puts her husband first and that treats him like a king and doesn't just toss him to the side whenever she's ready. That's what I wanted to share with you guys. I really thought about that because I know that I have been guilty of that in the past, of treating my husband as kind of disposable or just not really valuing him for the amazing husband that he is. And so I want to challenge you guys to treat your husbands like that. Even if in the season of you guys' life and marriage, he's not acting that way, I want you to invest the time and figure out what's going on with your husband and try and help him out. Figure out what's going on with him, because he's a whole human with whole feelings. And he needs you because there's nobody else for him to go to. That's what we're here for. So, don't be Barbie. That's all I wanted to say. Bye. Thank you for hanging out with me. Don't be Barbie. Bye for now, guys.